Hi, gorgeous lights. Welcome to an energy update for the 11th of June. I've been amazed at the levels of transformation that are actually going on just with the energy right at the moment, which is self-reflective, Spirit says, into the energy that you have in your own self. And I think there's new versions of ourselves trying desperately to form right at the moment as we're trying to cling to some old versions of ourselves that said, this is a way that I thought that my life would be. Now, having gone through this process or going through this process and exactly the same as what everybody else is, it's certainly been really, really illuminating to see where we can get in our own way or where the substructure based on familial patterns or parental upbringing, whatever, can actually really block and get in the way of what you're actually trying to discover for yourself. And I think half the key with this is actually giving yourself permission to truthfully investigate, which is what this energy is about. And lots and lots and lots of us do not want to do it because in that safety of conventionality says, well, this is a way that we're supposed to turn up, or this is a way that it's supposed to be, or shouldn't I actually be fulfilled by what this is? And the short answer is no, because the new version of yourself that's actually trying to form is a version that says uniquely who I am in conjunction with my soul contract with myself says who do I need to be at this period of time. And I'm getting so many people go, but I don't know who that is. And I'm like, good, you won't know who it is until you start exploring your own possibilities to get underneath that layering and actually start to experiment around with who you want to be for yourself. And it can feel exhausting and it can feel like, oh, I'm just having to do more stuff to help myself. But the key is, if you don't, then Elise is just saying you're living a lie of somebody else's fabrication of expectation of the way that they think life should be without truthfully investigating for yourself, within yourself, about what you truthfully want for yourself. And that can look in a multitude of different formats. And Spirit was saying to me this morning, you know, if you could tell a future version of yourself how incredibly proud of them that you're going to be, what would you be encouraging them to do? So what would you be encouraging a future version of yourself to do? And we don't sometimes think of it in terms of that level of expansion, if you like, or that level of being able to say, oh, if I had an opportunity to congratulate my future version of me, what would I congratulate them for going after or deciding what to do or where they needed to be in their life? Because Spirit is saying that the complacency that we can settle into brings us to a level of internal discontent that leaves the universe no alternative but to actually try and push you and challenge you outside of a comfort zone where most of us spend most of our lives trying to create a comfort zone and then go on board with this comfort zone. So it's very at cross purposes with what you're actually meant to achieve in terms of your soul level journey and the soul level contract with yourself. So identifying it isn't really a burden, it is an exploratory process keyed on your own positivity, your own drive and determination to discover about yourself what you actually want to know. And yep, we can have blimp times and blip times, and certainly one of the things that I found the most interesting is Spirit's encouragement right at the moment to us to have some self-care time, some self-reflection time, and pull in the art of doing nothing without kind of beating yourself up for not doing something, not going somewhere, not responding, or telling yourself in a really practical, pragmatic way that, you know, I should be doing something, instead of surrendering to actually going, it's actually really okay. I mean, it's okay to have a day off, a week off, a month off. And if you can do that, there's certainly a connectivity that you get with your own self. And I've certainly been watching the internal negotiations that I have with myself over my level of guilt at times that is driven by an upbringing that says that there's no value unless you're doing something right. And it's been really interesting because what it's actually translated to by taking some time, just have a day where you just kind of doing nothing but being with self, has actually reminded me that I don't let myself have levels of contentment um, unless there's value, or unless I've helped somebody, or unless there's been someone for me to talk to, unless there's something that in my internal negotiations I go, that wasn't valuable, or I should have helped somebody a little bit more, or I should have done this, or I should have done that. And I'm like, well, where did that come from? And that's the key, that's the investigation, is this a healthy judgment that you're doing of yourself by telling yourself that you're negotiating, yes, you can have this downtime, but then you have to do this. So I'm like, oh my word, actually most people don't realise that you're actually allowed to be contented just doing whatever you feel like doing, and it stops right there. And this has been something that, like, I'm genuinely, and probably a lot of people do because I talk to them, genuinely confused about what that actually entails, where you can stop negotiating with your actual brain and just go, it's fine. There's no expectation that I have of myself. There's no driving force that I'm wasting time when it's my time and I can do what I like with it. So in the discussions that I've been having with Spirit around this, I'm like, why are we so confused about this? Why are we so confused that, we can tell ourselves, well, you've only got this much time on the planet, so you should be doing this. In reality, there's actually no time, and when things fall into place the way that they're supposed to fall into place in whatever way, shape or form, then where are you most contented to just allow things just to be, and it doesn't have to be this, and it doesn't have to be that. And I think that we can end up with this, I don't know, show me that again, Elise. Oh, it's just like this ridiculous pressure on ourselves that actually ends up being analysis paralysis, because we're literally having to overanalyze or psychoanalyze or justify or say I have to work on the shadow part of myself because I'm sure I've got another limiting belief, or I'm sabotaging myself by having a day off, or I should be doing this, I should be doing that. These negotiations can end up being soul destroying, but they're also, as Spirit says, one of the biggest blocks that you're trying to negotiate with your own self, that will block you 110%. All of that blah, 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 will block you from just surrendering and going, do you know, it doesn't matter, I don't need to analyse this. I'm just going to focus on like the art of being, which is the art of self-care, is to just listen deeply to what you actually need right now. And if you're feeling like a lot of people are feeling like they just want to hermit, they don't want to see people, they don't want to socialise, they don't want to do this, they don't want to do that. I want you to understand this. This is, you've been gifted reflection time from the planet and from the universe to completely connect with yourself in a way that you've never done before, so that you can decide how you're creating this new version of yourself that looks at life in a less pressured way, that kind of doesn't set you up for more challenges or more adversity or more drama, because you're actually deeply connecting with this new version of yourself that's trying to emerge, driven by your heart-based energy that says, do I love myself enough to put myself as a priority in my life without the colossal judgments, justification, expectations, I should be this, I should be that, that you can just go, I'm just being. I'm just being. And the reason that I'm talking about it is because most people struggle with this, and most people go, oh, I don't want to have to look at myself, it's exhausting. Yet you live 24/7 with yourself, and I'm not talking about analysing every single thing that you do. Most human beings do, or we just go, interestingly, we go, well, this is just who I am, people have to accept that, when we don't actually accept ourselves the way that we are anyway. So it's like this rolling ball, vicious cycle that we've got going on. So when the universe intervenes, like it's doing at the moment with a lot of people, to say, okay, this person does not serve you anymore, this situation does not serve you anymore, we can feel, and I said this to someone yesterday, really, really picked on, that the universe is picking on us to actually remove these people out of our lives, to actually illuminate that this doesn't serve you, to turn up in a way that's way more accommodating to another person, it's not so accommodating to you. So we end up in these dynamics where we're like little kiddies going, that's not fair and that's not fair, when we're forgetting that the universe always works for you. And the universe is saying, there's been some colossal timeline changes, there's been some quantum jumps in understanding, and most of the souls that are down here, and I've mentioned this before, most of the souls that are down here, we have never experienced this series of events or this energetic timeline, that we're needing to actually really deeply reconnect with the physical body again. So there's things that I'm noticing where I'm just not interested in turning up in this way. I'm just not interested in associating with certain people. I'm just not interested in some of the foods that I use as a comfort to help myself feel better as well. So it's not a system detox as such, it's kind of like an environmental detox. It's kind of, like Elisa's making me laugh, a personality detox to a way, but it's a deep reconnection of self for self. Now, I've talked about it before, you've got to go through yourself into unity and community on the inside of you to get through, to come to this fifth dimensional understanding, which is about flow, being fully present. And we talk about that a lot in spiritual circles, if you like, about, you know, being fully present in the present moment. And I know that sounded like us being sarky, but, you know, at the end of the day, that's a brain thing, right? That's a brain thing that says, ooh, I've got to aspire to being fully present in the present moment. Well, you are fully present in the present moment because we're only in the moment that you're actually in, and it's taking that analysis or that ridiculous pressure, if you like, of what am I supposed to be in the present moment. Well, you're supposed to just be you. You're supposed to be you, and it doesn't matter. And when you can just take out all that analysis and all that analysing and all that overthinking and microchipping through these minute little details all the time to see if there's a lesson in that, or see if there's learning in that, or where's that growth coming out of that, and just chill, and just take a massive chill pill right at the moment, and centre into this vision of yourself that you're actually trying to create, by going, what do I feel like? What do I feel like right now? I feel like putting on season 2 of Bridgerton, sitting on the couch for a couple of hours because I can, and I'm okay with that because that's what I feel like doing right now. And if you let your brain get involved in that, you're probably going to find that your brain is going to go, oh my gosh, I'm taking time out, or I should be doing something else, or I should be doing this, or I should be doing that. No. Shush, brain. What do you feel like right now? And honouring that part of you that says, I just want to rest. I don't want to socialise over here. I don't want to do this. And I'm okay to do that. And I give myself permission to do that until I'm ready to step into whatever's next. This flow energy and deeply connected energy with yourself, or a new version of yourself, which is through honesty and connection and taking the time to actually investigate how you feel about things, is what's changing and making a difference. What you thought was important to you 6 months ago, you probably, once you slow it down, you're like, nah, do I really feel like that? The fifth dimension is all about the feels. It is all about turning up in a way that you're 100% contented with who you are as a person, and you're okay with that, because when you're contented in here as the person that you are, you're not actually analysing how anybody else turns up. especially interested in how anybody else turns up. And I'm not saying that from an indifferent point of view. I'm here to work with humanity, and I'm really happy that I love working with humanity. But in order to work with humanity, I have to deal with myself at exactly the same time, because I'm a spiritual being having a human journey too. And what you learn about yourself, and where you honour yourself and gift understanding to yourself, means that automatically it removes trigger points from dealing with other people. So are you worth the investment? 100%, of course you are. And this energy is highly reflected of this right at the moment. And I did say to someone the other day, it's kind of like watching everybody morph down into these little 2-year-old tantrums that we're actually having on the planet, just because we don't feel heard, we don't feel seen, we don't feel understood. Yet the main crux of what's going on in this energy is a gift from the universe saying, hey, pull back, take the time to understand you, take the time to deeply connect with the needs that you have that you've never been allowed to express, and you need to express them to yourself first, so that you can actually figure out that there's more to you than meets the eye, but there's more that you want than meets the eye, and it may not be driven by ambition. It may be that you just want a long rest and tootle around the garden and gift yourself that time outside clearly of other responsibilities, but you may need that. Why haven't you prioritised that? And I'm really intrigued over the next 6 weeks. I can see people developing into these calmer, more selective, it sounds really weird, but more selective, discerning, good boundaries, contented versions of ourselves. And those people that are willing to make that progress into this state of being, because the fifth dimension is a state of mind, then they're going to be freer to not be agonising to the same degree that I'm watching some other people do as well. And you know what? If they're choosing that, then you have to deeply honour that person's soul pathway, and they're choosing what else they need to align within themselves, or what other soul contracts that they've got, because your soul contract at the moment is governed by the universe to deeply connect you with you. You can't avoid yourself in this energy. The energy is going to shove it in your face until you actually look at what your needs are, not fulfilled by someone else, because someone else is never going to fulfill your needs, but until you actually start to actually take the reflection time without the clutter, then there's a lot of stuff that's going to be pushed and pulled in this energy from the universe to give these illuminations of where your own importance is, and you are the lead in your own life story. So it's certainly, is it a challenging energy? Life's all about change. How you deal in situations where you stop fighting with yourself, where you actually go, gosh, I gained so much wisdom and knowledge, which is what the earth plane is about. I mean, I kind of look at my own life and think of grief, everything that I thought it was going to be has completely been tipped on its head. And yet the exponential growth that I've had out of that, and the person that I am, I'm so truly grateful for, and I wouldn't actually change anything that's happened. So at the end of the day, that's the alignment, working with myself with forgiveness, clarity, understanding, all of those sort of things, which is so important to enable you to feel heard in yourself, is the key to half of it as well. We've half the planet running away from themselves, not wanting to deal with this, getting grumpy and expressing a ton of it externally at other people, projections, all of those sort of things, because they're not actually able to deeply touch themselves. If you are watching this video, then I know that you are intuitively highly sensitive and wanting to actually understand why the energy is affecting you as much as what it actually is. And it's because you're this beautiful, highly sensitive being who came here to gift the best to yourself, and understanding yourself, because that's your soul contract, then go you. Congratulate yourself for taking the time. Congratulate yourself for going, oh my gosh, I recognise I needed to put my feet up and just read a book because I feel like it, and I need to do that for me without justifying anything to anybody else, because everybody else has got an opinion, and while I'm thinking about it, I don't actually need to tell another person that I'm doing this because I don't need external validation. I need to gift that back to myself. Oh my gosh, there I go. I'm off on another understanding about myself. Taking the time is the gift that you actually give yourself. Definitely reflection energy, and it's going to continue through June into July as you have more epiphanies and understanding. We're in 3 months of clarity. You're going to get that wisdom if you actually take the time. So please take care of you, and remember, you are the light of the gift to your own understanding if you take the time to actually see how pivotal that you are and celebrate that. That's all that Spirit ever wants us to do, is remember that the universe is always working for you to help you, give you a better understanding of yourself, to give you the wisdom that you need for you, and the love that you need to give back to yourself. And that's what's really important. Keep shining.